Hi, my name is Sarah Carr, and I work for the Surrey County Health and Nutrition Center. I'm here today with Ashley Vaughn, our lead communicable disease and TB nurse. Today we're going to talk about Legionella, a bacteria that can cause a serious illness called Legionnaire's disease. Welcome, Ashley.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks. So let's start with the basics. What is Legionella and what illness does it cause?
Legionella is a type of bacteria, and it causes two main illnesses, Legionnaire's disease or Pontiac fever. Legionnaire's disease is a serious type of pneumonia, and then Pontiac fever is a milder illness caused by the same bacteria, but it usually results in just fever, muscle aches, headache, so it's just a milder illness.
Okay, great. Why is this important for people in Surrey County to know?
We are seeing a rise in this in Surrey County as well as North Carolina. So we want to get this information out to the public to make people more aware so that way they know what signs and symptoms to look out for.
All right. How common is Legionnaire's disease and who is most at risk?
Each year there are between 8,000 and 18,000 cases. So it's a wide range, but we are seeing more cases and people who have chronic lung diseases are at higher risk, as well as people with cancer, diabetes, kidney or liver failure, weakened immune systems, people over the age of 50, current smokers or former smokers. It is important to note that healthy people that are exposed usually don't get sick.
Okay.
But we are worried about those people who are at risk.
Can you tell us more about the symptoms of Legionnaire's disease, and then also how is it different from pneumonia or COVID?
The biggest difference is it's not a virus, it's a bacteria that causes Legionella, and the symptoms are cough, fever, headache, muscle aches, shortness of breath. Some people also can experience confusion, diarrhea, nausea, vomiting. That's why testing is so important, because those symptoms are similar to those of COVID. So testing is very important so we know what antibiotics to use and things to get people treated.
Okay. Tell us how Legionella is diagnosed and treated, since you were talking about that.
Yes. So an x-ray, chest x-ray will show that they have pneumonia. And then there are also urine tests that can be done, or blood tests to test for the actual bacteria Legionella.
Tell us where the Legionella bacteria live and how does it spread to people?
Legionella is found naturally in fresh water. It becomes a problem whenever it grows in a human-made water system. So the most common way that people get sick is by breathing in the bacteria through like misted water. And that can happen through showers, sink faucets, hot tubs, decorative water fountains, cooling towers. I don't know if you've ever seen the cooling towers that mist cold water, and a lot of people use those in the summer, which is also why we want to get that information out there, because that is a risk. Large plumbing systems and buildings can also hold that bacteria.
Okay. Can someone get Legionnaire's disease from drinking water?
You cannot get it from drinking.
Okay. Good.
That is a good thing
These
to
are
let
minds.
people know. It has to be inhaled. That bacteria has to get in the lungs, and that's what causes you to be sick.
Okay. So what are some practical ways that homes, businesses, or schools could reduce the risk of Legionella?
Legionella grows under conditions where there's low disinfectant levels, stagnant water, poorly maintained equipment. So there are ways that you can prevent that from happening. I also do want to mention too a myth that it can come from home air conditioning units. That's actually not a risk, but if there's like window AC units, that can be a problem because the water can get in there and grow that bacteria. So I do want to mention that. But another way that we can prevent Legionella is keeping the water treated. So if you have public or city water, those have disinfectant in them. And then there's also keeping the water moving. So stagnant water, that's a problem. That's where the bacteria has a chance to grow. So flushing unused sinks and showers, fountains regularly. Another thing I do want to mention is people who have RVs.
Okay.
If you haven't used your RV and you're getting ready to take it out, make sure that you're flushing those sinks and showers before you get in.
Good to know.
Yeah, definitely a good thing for campers to know. And then maintaining your equipment. Make sure that your hot tubs, your cooling towers, fountains, anything like that is getting disinfected and clean. Routine maintenance. And also temperatures. That's something that we can't always control, and I think that might be why we're seeing a rise, because we are seeing warmer temperatures, but that is a problem. So you want to keep cold water cold and hot water hot. That in between area is where
the bad place,
where that bacteria can really thrive.
Okay. Can you go into more detail about showers, hot tubs, and air conditioners? Because that's something, someone uses probably almost every day.
Yes,
So
that can be a concern, especially if they're not cleaned regularly or the water is not hot enough. So again, home air conditioners, those are not a risk because they don't use water in the cooling process.
Okay.
The real concern is with large buildings, cooling towers, and places where water can sit and then become warm.
what is Surry County Health and Nutrition Center doing to prevent and monitor Legionella?
In communicable disease, we track and investigate all reported cases of Legionella in Surry County. We suspect a source, and then we work with environmental health to investigate and help fix the problem. If anyone has concerns about a water system at home, work, or a public space, they can reach out to our environmental health office, and that number is 336-401-8325. We're here to help keep the community safe.
What is the most important thing you want viewers to remember about Legionella?
Legionella is more common than people realize. The cases are increasing nationwide. Because it looks like any other illness, it can go undiagnosed. So we want people to recognize the signs and symptoms so they can get the appropriate testing and treatment. I also want people just to know, keep cold water cold, hot water hot, know how your water moves through your building, and make sure that you identify any spots where the water may sit or heat up. Water that sits too long can lose the disinfectant and grow a biofilm. And if it reaches that temperature where bacteria thrive, that's where we get into trouble. The key message here is just that most cases are preventable. Regular maintenance of water systems at home and in public spaces can go a long way in stopping Legionella from growing and spreading.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Ashley. Call our environmental health department at the number on the screen, or you can download our app by scanning the QR code that's on the screen. Thanks for watching, and good health to you.